collision over Lake Constance. On July 1st, 2002, at 9:35 p.m., a Tu-154M en route from Moscow to Barcelona collided with a cargo Boeing 757-200 that was on its scheduled flight from Bergamo to Brussels. The collision took place to the north of the German city Überlingen over Lake Constance. The air disaster took the lives of 71 people. Reconstruction. The crew of the DHL cargo Boeing spent the whole of July 2002 traveling between Bahrain, Bergamo, Brussels, and then Bahrain again. On the 1st of July, exactly at 1:30 p.m., the crew, consisting of British and Canadian pilots, flew out of Bahrain and started to make their way towards Italy. 6 hours later, they landed safely at Bergamo Airport, Italy. At this same time, the passenger Tu-154 takes off from Moscow, heading to Barcelona. The crew of 5 included the captain, instructor who took the first officer's seat, navigator, engineer, and a second pilot who wasn't piloting the plane during this flight. The Tu-154 reached and remained at flight level 360, which translates to an altitude of 11 kilometers. 2 hours later, the Boeing takes off from Bergamo and heads for Brussels, while the Tupolev is already in European airspace. The Boeing 757 takes the same flight level as Tu-154. Air Traffic Control, Zurich, Germany. Taking into account that the airspace traffic usually decreases in the evening, one of the 2 controllers retires for a rest. 10 minutes later, he is followed by his assistant. Usually, they wouldn't return back to work until the morning, leaving Peter Nielsen to cover for 3 people and watch 2 terminal screens at the same time. He controlled the upper flight level aircraft on one and lower altitude flights on another, designated for Friedrichshafen approach. Therefore, the Boeing 757 and the Tu-154 were on the same first screen, while the lower altitude screen was showing a delayed Airbus A320. It is this delayed flight that distracted the controller from telling the Tu-154 crew to descend, since they were at the same altitude and aiming for the Boeing at a right angle. If only Peter Nielsen had told the Tupolev crew to descend, these 2 flights could have been saved. Unfortunately, he was busy directing the Airbus. To be precise, he was trying to get in touch with the Friedrichshafen ATC, or Air Traffic Control, and transfer the Airbus A320 control to them, but the line got cut off. As a result, Peter's last 5 minutes before the collision were fully devoted to resolving the Airbus problem. At the same time, the crew of the Tu-154 starts to discuss the approaching plane they see on the radar. It is also at this time when the Karlsruhe Air Traffic Control (STCA) warning system goes off, prompting the local controller to call Peter and warn him of the potential collision. But the phone line is still cut off.
STCA is the short-term conflict alert warning signal that shows up on the ATC air traffic control terminal display when the separation minima between planes can be potentially infringed. The equipment that each aircraft carries sends the signal both to the ground-based STCA and the onboard TCAS system, although the 2 systems are not connected.
The first officer in the Boeing passes the controls to the captain, intending to go to the restroom, but stops because of the engaged TCAS that warns them of the dangerous convergence.
Descend.
Their TCAS advises them to descend, and therefore the captain switches autopilot off, pushing the yoke forward. Only 23 seconds later, 13 seconds before the collision, he informs the ATC about it. The planes are now only 24 kilometers apart.
TCAS, Traffic Alert and Collision Avoidance System, is a system designed to reduce the incident of mid-air collisions by scanning the area around the plane in search for other planes that are also equipped with TCAS. All aircrafts that are over 5,700 kilograms or certified to carry more than 19 passengers must be equipped with it.
At the same time, the Tupolev crew also receives a TCAS warning.
Here, it is showing us 0.
Traffic. To the Трафик.
BTC 2937, descent flight level 350, expedite, I have crossing traffic.
Finally, leaving the Airbus situation, the ATC controller asked the Tu-154 to descend. But the phrases he used did not correlate with the urgency of the situation. Watching the Tupolev descend, Peter Nielsen decided that the issue was resolved and returned to the problem of the Airbus A320, whose crew had already tried to get in touch with him twice in the meantime. It is this distraction that became the reason why he didn't notice that the Boeing 757 also started to descend following the TCAS command. Plus, the Boeing crew never informed him of it. At this point, the Tupolev TCAS advises the crew to gain altitude.
Climb now.
It says climb.
He is guiding us down.
Descend?
The Tu-154 crew continued their descent. According to the Tu-154M manual, TCAS alerts are only recommendations, while ATC commands must be strictly followed at all times. Then the STCA alert goes off at the Zurich ATC as well, but no one hears it, while visual warnings are deactivated because of equipment maintenance. Peter Nielsen once again returns to the two converging planes, and after realizing what's actually happening, interrupts the Tu-154's crew discussion.
BTC 2937, descent level 350, expedite descent.
Expedite descent level 350.
Peter was unaware of the onboard TCAS commands and didn't know that the Boeing 757 was also descending. The captain of the Tupolev pushes the yoke forward, increasing the descent speed to 10 meters per second. The pilots once again mull over the TCAS warning and the approaching 757 that is now 18 kilometers away and already visually visible to the captain. The Boeing follows their own TCAS commands and also speeds up.
We have traffic at your 2 o'clock position now at 360.
It's going below us.
Peter informs the crew of the Tu-154 that the Boeing is on the right, but they already see the plane on the left. The Boeing crew informs the ATC of their descent, but he doesn't hear them due to signal interference. The TCAS advises Tu-154 to speed up their climb.
Increase climb.
It says climb.
2 seconds before the collision, the Boeing pilots push yokes fully forward.
Descent hard.
The trajectories of the two planes crossed at a right angle at an altitude of 35,000 feet, or 10,600 meters. Both crews saw each other right before the collision, but due to a convergent speed of 1,300 kilometers per hour, they simply had no time to deviate. The management of the Zurich ATC knew that for many years there was only one controller operating during the night. All in all, it seemed doable to manage two screens at the same time, and this is why Peter Nielsen didn't ask for help. The German Federal Bureau came to the conclusion that one controller taking care of the night shift was not enough. At the same time, the integration of the TCAS in aviation that took place in 2002 was not done in full and didn't follow the manufacturer's advice, since TCAS manufacturer ICAO's and National Aviation Authority's instructions weren't fully standardized. In fact, these instructions often contradicted each other. Nowadays, these limitations are resolved, and TCAS warnings are now considered to be more reliable than the ATC. Therefore, be it climb or descent, it is the TCAS alerts that the pilots follow, reporting their actions to the ATC.